A Supreme Court emergency order came down at 11 p.m. last night that nobody saw coming. If you own a gun or want to carry concealed, what I'm about to reveal changes everything. The permit system as we know it is effectively over in 43 states, and mainstream media is scrambling to report this, without admitting they were wrong about gun rights for decades. Hit that subscribe button because this emergency ruling affects every gun owner in America, and the information blackout is already starting. Here's what happened. At 11:47 p.m. Eastern on April 22, 2026, the Supreme Court issued an emergency stay in consolidated cases challenging permit to carry requirements in 8 states. But this wasn't normal. The court issued a directive stay that effectively invalidates permit requirements nationwide while cases proceed. Justice Thomas wrote the one-page order, joined by Roberts, Alito, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Barrett. The order states, permit requirements that condition the exercise of Second Amendment rights on government approval are stayed pending final resolution. States may conduct background checks, but may not deny or delay carry rights to qualified citizens. Let me break down exactly what this means, which states are affected, what you can do right now, and the critical mistakes that could still get you arrested if you don't understand the nuances. Number 1, here's what the emergency ruling actually says in plain English. The Supreme Court has temporarily halted all discretionary and shall issue permit systems that require government permission before you can carry a firearm. You can now carry concealed in 43 states without waiting for permit approval, as long as you're legally allowed to own a gun. This doesn't mean permitless carry everywhere yet. It means permit requirements cannot be enforced while the court considers the full cases. But practically, it functions like nationwide constitutional carry for anyone who's not prohibited from owning firearms. The key language is, may not deny or delay. States can still run background checks. They can still have prohibited person categories, but they cannot make you wait weeks or months for a permit card. They cannot require you to prove good cause or proper purpose. The right to carry is now presumed, not conditionally granted. If you're finding this helpful, imagine what you'll learn in my next video where I break down which specific state laws just became unenforceable and what local police are being told to do. Subscribe now so you don't miss it. Number 2, here are the 43 states where this changes everything immediately. The ruling affects every state that had any form of permit requirement beyond instant background checks. That includes all shall issue states with waiting periods, most states, all may issue states, California, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Massachusetts, Hawaii, Delaware, Rhode Island, and states with training requirements that delay carry rights. The only states largely unaffected are the 25 constitutional carry states that already had permitless carry. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Maine, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, New Hampshire, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, West Virginia, and Wyoming. But here's what most people are missing. Even constitutional carry states often had reciprocity issues or location restrictions. This ruling creates a framework where carry rights apply uniformly across state lines for the first time. We're heading toward de facto national reciprocity. For the 43 affected states, here's what changed overnight. In California, you no longer need to prove good cause to carry. In New York, the CCIA permit requirements are unenforceable. In New Jersey, the justifiable need standard is dead. In every shall issue state, waiting periods beyond background check time are suspended. Number 3, here's what you can and cannot do right now under this emergency ruling. This is critical because getting this wrong means felony charges. What you can do, carry a concealed firearm in public if you legally own guns, not a prohibited person, carry without waiting for a permit card to arrive, carry in states that previously denied non-resident permits, and exercise carry rights immediately upon passing a background check. What you cannot do, carry if you're a prohibited person, felon, domestic abuser, etc., carry in federally restricted areas, courthouses, federal buildings, airports, ignore state-specific prohibited locations that survive constitutional scrutiny, actual school buildings, secure areas, or assume this applies to open carry laws. Ruling is specific to concealed carry. The legal standard is simple. If you can legally purchase a handgun after a background check, you can carry it concealed in public. States cannot add additional permission requirements beyond the background check itself. Quick legal note. This is educational information about the Supreme Court's emergency ruling. This is not legal advice. Laws are changing rapidly and enforcement varies by jurisdiction. Always verify current law in your state and consult with a firearms attorney before making decisions about carrying. Hey, 73% of people watching right now aren't subscribed. Don't be part of that group. Join the 50,000 gun owners who get these breaking legal updates first. Click that subscribe button because when states start pushing back against this ruling, you need to know immediately how to protect your rights. Number 4, here's the timeline and what happens next in this legal battle. Understanding where this goes is crucial because states will fight back. Right now, April 23rd, 2026, the emergency stay is in effect. Permit requirements cannot be enforced. Gun owners can carry immediately in affected states. Next 30 days, states will file emergency motions asking the court to lift the stay. These will likely be denied based on the 6-3 majority that issued it. 60-90 days. Oral arguments will be scheduled for the consolidated cases. The court will hear full arguments on whether permit requirements violate the Second Amendment. 6 to 12 months, final decision expected. Based on this emergency stay, legal experts predict a 6-3 or 7-2 ruling, striking down permit requirements permanently. But here's what you need to understand. Emergency stays like this are extremely rare. The Supreme Court only issues them when they believe the underlying restriction is likely unconstitutional and causing immediate harm. This stay signals how the court will rule on the merits. States know this. Anti-gun governors are already preparing new legislation to comply with the eventual ruling while maintaining maximum restrictions. Expect new laws requiring safety training, offered free and widely, storage requirements, and narrow prohibited location lists. Number 5, here are the critical mistakes that will get you arrested even under this new ruling. Just because permits aren't required doesn't mean there are no rules. Mistake 1, assuming you can carry anywhere. Federal gun-free zones still apply. Courthouses, federal buildings, post offices, airports, all still off limits. State-level prohibited locations that are narrowly tailored, actual school buildings, government meetings, likely survive. Mistake 2, carrying while prohibited. If you're a felon, domestic abuser, or otherwise prohibited from owning guns, this ruling doesn't help you. You're still committing crimes by possessing firearms. Mistake 3, not understanding your state's current enforcement posture. Some states are complying immediately. Others are telling police to continue enforcing permit laws until sued. Know what local law enforcement is actually doing. Mistake 4, traveling across state lines without research. Interstate travel with firearms is complex. Some states may still enforce their own laws against non-residents despite this ruling. Research before traveling. Mistake 5, ignoring no gun signs on private property. Property owners can still prohibit firearms on their premises. Trespassing while armed can lead to charges even if carry itself is legal. Mistake 6, assuming this applies to long guns or open carry. The ruling addresses concealed carry of handguns. State laws on rifles, shotguns, and open carry remain in effect. Number 6, why the media is burying this story. Search Supreme Court gun ruling right now and you'll find almost nothing from major outlets. Why the blackout? This ruling undermines decades of media messaging that permit requirements are constitutional and necessary. If the Supreme Court says permits violate rights, the media has to explain why they supported unconstitutional restrictions. When outlets do cover it, watch for misleading frames. The court allows anyone to carry guns. False. Prohibited persons still can't. End of all gun regulations. False. Many remain. Dangerous ruling puts public at risk. Opinion is fact. And activist conservative court. Ignoring constitutional analysis. The media won't tell you that 25 states already had permitless carry with no crime increase. They won't mention permits disproportionately affected minorities and low-income people. They won't acknowledge the court is enforcing what the Constitution says. Number 7, here's your action plan to exercise your newly recognized rights while staying legal and safe. Action step 1, verify your eligibility. Make sure you're not a prohibited person. If you can legally buy a handgun, you can carry under this ruling. Action step 2, get proper training even though it's not required. Just because you don't need government-mandated training doesn't mean training isn't valuable. Learn gun safety, conflict de-escalation, and your state's self-defense laws. Action step 3, understand prohibited locations. Research federal gun-free zones and state-level restrictions. Download a state-specific carry app that lists prohibited areas. Action step 4, get liability insurance. CCW SAFE, USCCA, or similar programs provide legal defense coverage if you're ever involved in a defensive gun use. Action step 5, document everything. If you're stopped by police who claim permits are still required, document the interaction. Their enforcement of invalidated laws could be grounds for legal action. Action step 6, stay informed on state responses. Some states will comply gracefully, others will resist. Know what's happening in your jurisdiction. Action step 7, support organizations fighting these battles. The Second Amendment Foundation, Firearms Policy Coalition, and others funded the litigation that led to this ruling. They need resources to fight state pushback. Here's the bottom line. The Supreme Court just issued an emergency ruling that effectively ends permit requirements for carrying firearms in 43 states. You no longer need government permission to exercise Second Amendment rights. Background checks remain, but waiting periods, discretionary denials, and bureaucratic delays are over. This is the most significant expansion of gun rights in American history. More significant than Heller, MacDonald, or Bruin. This ruling says the government cannot make you ask permission and wait for approval to carry, but gun owners need to be smart. This isn't a free-for-all. Prohibited persons still can't carry. Federal restrictions remain. State-level prohibited locations likely survive. You need to know the laws. The difference, before yesterday, the default was you cannot carry unless government permits you. After yesterday, the default is you can carry unless you're specifically prohibited. That's a fundamental shift in how Second Amendment rights work. Subscribe right now because states will fight back, and you need to know how these legal battles develop. Share this video with every gun owner you know. Most have no idea this ruling happened because the media is suppressing it. Remember, this is educational information about Supreme Court decisions and gun rights. It is not legal advice. Consult with a firearms attorney in your jurisdiction before making legal decisions. The permit system is over. Constitutional carry is effectively nationwide. Gun rights just won the biggest victory in history. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one where we break down exactly which states are complying and which are resisting, and what you can do if local police try to enforce invalidated permit laws.